Gardening with Ava.
Hello, welcome back to Anything and Everything. I wanted to take the time to make this video today to give a few shout outs to a couple of YouTubers that I watched. They've really given me the inspiration to get out in my garden and really work my soil and my soul. So I came across Renee's garden. Go look her up. She is so inspirational. I seen how she started her sweet potato slips, and so I'm doing that. This would be my first time. I'm kind of excited. They do have some little slips starting to grow on it, so I'll keep you posted. Another person who really inspires me is Garden Love Homestead. She is so cute. She just bought a big piece of property, and she is taking everything from her pots, because she used to just plant everything in a pot, and she is now planting them into the ground of her new property. So she really inspired me to finally put my peach tree in the ground. I learned so much from her. It's kind of difficult when you have them in a pot, well, at least for me, because everything that they get for nourishment is from you. So that really made me think about it, and so I put it in the ground. And I don't have to worry too much about frequent watering because this is on a drip system. And as you see, I have flowers blooming, and I'm really hoping to get a lot of peaches this year. Another YouTuber that has inspired me is Backyard Edible Garden in Los Angeles. She has so many edible plants in her backyard, and she does updates, and then she also cooks with what she harvests. Go check her out. So I've really started planting seeds and gardening, and so I'm going to take you on a little tour and let you see what I have done so far. I've got some cucumbers growing, and I started them in this pot, and I just left them there because they were doing so well, and I just placed them in this corner, put a netting on top of it. It's just chicken wire, but I just put that on there, and let's see how it works. These were from seeds, and I'm very impressed that they grew. Right next to them, I have some Japanese cucumber, and I actually purchased the plants from the nursery. So let's see what happens. So if you watch any of our YouTube videos with us cooking, you know my mom is Japanese, and she loves eggplant. So I planted a few. We've had success with this in the past. I've just decided to move them over here and see how they will grow. Looks like they've already got their flowering and maybe starting to produce a couple of eggplants. I've been trying to put in a lot of flowers so that the bees will come along, and some butterflies. Those are always nice to look at. But to help me pollinate, I've put in all kinds of flowers all around my backyard. Not only is it pretty, it will help us to pollinate some of our veggies that we planted. I have this little miniature avocado tree. It's a dwarf. I've had it for a few years, and I think I've received only 3 avocados off of this tree in the past. But one of my subscribers gave me some suggestion on how to nurture it, and so I've taken the advice, and yeah, this year looks like there are a lot more bulbs on it. Now that I say that, I can't find any, but here's a few. And so I'm just hoping that we get some avocados this year. We love avocados. Another one of my subscribers has given me some avocados off of her tree. So hopefully I get some this year. And if you have any suggestions how I can really take care of this avocado tree, I'd appreciate it. I copied this idea from Garden Love Homestead, where I watched her help one of her friends in their front yard to do a landscape, and she tipped over a bucket and it looked like flowers were growing out of it. So I copied that. It of course doesn't look exact, but you should go see hers. It's really cute. But I decided to just do that, and at the beginning I just had marigolds just coming out of that bucket all over the place, and then I decided to add in some other rosemary and some sage. And I love this little area. I always look at it and I'm just so happy with it. It really brings a smile to my face in the mornings when I come out and drink my coffee, because my chair kind of looks right into it. But that was an idea that I got from her, and I'm hoping that you guys will go watch her or any of the shout outs that I'm giving, because I got a lot of ideas from them. So in this little box, I had just planted seeds of wildflowers like bee attractors, butterfly attractors, and then I started to notice that on the other side of my house where I was planting vegetables, I noticed that there were some volunteer tomato plants. You can see them here. And Backyard Edible Garden in Los Angeles, she talked about this, where she was saying that she had a lot of different volunteer plants growing. So I just took the little tomato plants and I just put them here, not thinking that they were actually going to grow, but just kind of like in a little experiment, because everything I'm doing is an experiment. So they grew, and so I had to put up a little tiny trellis there, and I left them in this box to see how well they'll do. But I do have some neighborhood cats. They're kind of my yard cats, and they like to lay in this box because I think it's nice and cool. So I put this wire up, this chicken wire around it. You know, it will help the tomatoes to stabilize and have some type of support, and it'll keep those cats out of there. But let's see. I'll update you to see if it produces any fruit. So I was experimenting, and I decided to plant some sunflowers. Now, these are the ones that produce sunflower seeds. One of the reasons being is I kind of have a fear of things having holes in them. So, like the sunflowers, when you pull out the seeds, they have all those little holes. You know, beehives. Those kind of things just give me the weebie-jeebies. So I decided to get over my fear, and I planted some. The only thing is, I planted them all along here. And I think it's really going to overwhelm me. It looks like it's going to be a lot. I don't know. I seen a neighbor's house, and they had them growing in the front yard, and they really had some big stalks on them. And I don't know how well these are gonna do. You can let me know what you think, but I gave it a try. So this tomato plant I have had in this pot for about a year now. It just keeps reproducing, and it just keeps having leaves all year long. I can get quite a bit of little cherry tomatoes out of it, and they're really sweet and really good. I've moved this in several different places, but it seems to like it here, so I'm gonna leave it here. And there's a couple of little plants in here that were volunteer plants from on the side of my house, and I planted them here. Now I don't know if they're even cherry tomatoes at this point. I don't even know what kind of tomatoes they are, because at one point I planted a bunch of different tomatoes. So I'm not quite sure, but this thing loves it here, and it has opportunity to spread itself out and move all over. I kind of have a vine growing up here that gives me a really pretty flower, and during the spring it just looks so beautiful, like a carpet of flowers. I pretty much have it going all the way in my backyard. This jasmine plant has been in this pot, and I've moved it around quite a bit. You know, I moved, we were leasing a house for a little bit, so everything was in a pot before we found this house. And now that we own our home, I can actually put things in the ground. But I had put it over here, and it just seemed to love it, so I'm gonna leave it here and let it keep growing. It seems to like it, so I'm gonna leave it. It's made its way up and kind of gonna cover this area for me, which I like. Gives a little privacy. And I know that a lot of people don't like the smell of it, but I love it. I love the smell. I love the jasmines in bloom. So this is my first time planting green beans, and so I just got a bunch of seeds, and I throw them in this little pot, and they are going crazy. So I did put up a trellis, starting to grow up the trellis, and then again it's going to probably end up going up into the little privacy trellis that I had, but I'm hoping that we get lots of green beans. I love green beans. We can eat them every night, and I'm hoping I get a lot, and I can make one of my special green bean dishes for you. Here is another one. It just wasn't getting enough sun down there, so I kind of moved it here, and then I put on some of this chicken wire just so it can grab onto something, and I'll keep you updated. This is my rosemary bush, and I have it in just a pot, and I have had it in here for years, and it just has been producing so much rosemary for me, and it's very reliable for me. I use a lot of rosemary in my dishes, and I just love this. Now I have a lot of items. They're either in the ground or they're in a pot. They may be in a pot because before we moved here I had it in a pot. So I have a lot of peppers, different kind of peppers, jalapenos, serranos. I threw a lot of seed in here for wildflowers to help attract some bees. Spearmint, oregano, mint. I put some lavender over there. Again, I have some hot peppers and in different breeds of hot peppers. These little red hot pepper, these will be those little red hot peppers. Those are bold chili peppers, those very tiny red peppers. And these were all in pots, and I put them down. And they seem to love it in the ground, so I'm happy. Now here is my prize this year, is my grapevine. So I've had this grape tree, or this grape bush vine. I've had it for years, and it has produced a couple of times some grapes for me. And so I had it in this pot. I put it over here when I moved here, and at one point I tried to pick it up and the roots had already gone into the ground, so I've just left it, and just it likes it here, so I just left it and worked around it. Now this year I put this little chicken wire around it just so it could grow up. I've had a hard time trying to get it to connect to the wall back there, and so I just put the wire on it, and it looks like it likes it. It's going through it, and yeah, it'll make kind of a little canopy once it's grown out, and it'll be pretty decorative. The leaves last for a pretty long time, so yeah, it'll give my plants some shade too, because this place gets a lot of sun, so during the summer it will help to shade some of my stuff. I have some basil growing here, and some Brussels sprouts. I've grown Brussels sprouts in here before, and it really liked it, so here we are again with it. I've got some green onions back here in this pot, and they're supposed to be the bigger green onions, so, but I think that I did it with seed, and I think I put them too close together, but it's okay. We cut those often enough, and we use it for you know, soups, ramen soups. And here's my chives, so we use both of those. I have some artichoke growing, and this is the leaves here. I love them. I think they're beautiful. I think they may be a little bit crushed in here, but I'll see how it works out and do differently next year. I have a lot of aloe vera. I cut that aloe vera at the beginning of COVID, and I made hand sanitizer when I was working. There wasn't a lot of hand sanitizer available, and so I'm a nurse, so I made hand sanitizer with this aloe vera and alcohol, and then I put some tea tree in it, and it really worked good. It didn't dry my hands out so much, but it looks like it has flowered. So I have a little bush of gardenias. So here is another little corner of my yard. It's right next to the air conditioning unit, but it gets good sun. And so right here I have some tomatillos, and I grew them. I started them by seed, and I thought I would be taking them up and putting them in the ground, but they're just so delicate, so I'm just gonna leave them there. I have some corn in the back, and in between these little slates I have some Mexican squash going on. Oh, I was trying to catch some gnats here with this plate. I put some Vaseline on it and just tried to hopefully catch some of the adult gnats, but so yeah, these are Hispanic zucchinis, and I do have a little fruit starting up in here. And these are just the regular zucchinis, and they're flowering and looking good. I have some Roma tomatoes growing. And this here is my lemongrass. I moved it, and I'm not quite sure if it likes it here. It usually grows much quicker. I'm not sure if it likes it, but I'm gonna leave it there for a little bit and see what happens. But if you're wondering why I have it growing in between in this on this pallet here, or underneath the pallet, is because I do have those neighborhood cats, yard cats, and this is where they like to poop. So I decided to put that down so they wouldn't bother them, and they haven't been back. I had a cat box here, and they would use the cat box, but they would also use any free area to, you can see me in here trying to swat away flies. Anyways, they would use this area to poop. So I decided to put that down just to deter them, and it has. And since then I've moved the cat box, and it looks like they're using it. So I have my strawberries growing here. When I purchased the strawberries, it was like a little hanging pot, but I just cut that off and put them down here. I just like it better. I have some hydrangeas. I'm trying to get some lavender started. I like this little area. It's so pretty. Well, thanks for stopping by, anything and everything. And please go check out Renee's garden. Backyard edible garden in Los Angeles, Garden Love Homestead. And check out what they're doing. I was very inspired by them. If you have somebody else that you would like me to watch, please let me know, and I'll be for sure to take a peek at their channel. I learn something every day by watching YouTubers in their garden or cooking, so let me know.